Welcome to Behind the Cusp, a podcast diving deep into the layers of self-growth, inner work, and transformation. I'm your host, Marissa Mead, and after 15 years as a digital creator, I'm sharing my raw, unfiltered journey of healing and self-discovery to walk alongside you in yours. Together, we'll dive deep into the conversations that matter most, uncovering what it means to truly evolve from the inside out. This is where you elevate into transformation. So take a breath, settle in, and let's begin. Welcome back to the show. We are here today with a very meaningful episode. This is the first ever guest conversation on Behind the Cusp, and it is one that has actually been a long time coming. I am joined by my friend Morgan Willett, who some of you may know through Instagram for her incredible travels all over the world. Girlfriend is always on a plane, and we love that for her. Or even from her past appearance on the hit show Big Brother. This conversation between Morgan and I actually started months and months ago, long before recording, and I think even before I officially had launched the podcast. When I was in the process of creating my podcast and conceptualizing, I had this running list of people that I knew I wanted on the show to share their story or their expertise and things like that. And I knew that Morgan was one of the people that I wanted on. And so I reached out to her and she was like, oh my God, yes, the second you launch, let me know. I would love to be on and chat. And here we are. Morgan and I met on a brand trip back in May of 2022 with Freedom Boat Club. It was actually here in Florida, just in northern Florida. And we really connected and bonded both on the trip and following the trip over our similarities in life. We were both coming out of unhealthy relationships in our late 20s and being single women entering into our 30s, rediscovering ourselves, being independent, finding a really solid, true identity in who we are, and exploring the world, exploring our own lives, and being excited about life. Morgan lived in Nashville for a few years while she was in this whole process. I moved to Naples here in Florida during this process, things that I was very open and chatted about a ton with you guys on Style Cusp. That has been a theme that I have leaned into a lot, is recognizing that my life and my story may not look like the societal timelines that are out there. You go through a process of rediscovering yourself and finding an identity on your own, going through this whole undoing phase of your life may not look like you thought it would, but how can you still explore the world, explore your life, be excited about life, pursue things that you are passionate about, and ultimately through Morgan's story and my own, where we had these similarities is we are empowering women who are in the same place in life as we are to break societal timelines and conditions and really live a full, beautiful life. Something that I really appreciate about Morgan is her commitment to fully being herself. She shows up raw, she shows up real, she shows up in the moment, and she really brings her audience along for the ride. Her vulnerability is something that really stands out and gives you a really strong connection point with a creator. And I think this is something that is lacking, if you will, in the creator world, but it's also really hard to do. I will acknowledge that. It is so hard to show up online in that way. And Morgan does it so beautifully and gracefully and totally admits that, hey, maybe I'll regret posting this or sharing this in another day or two, but it's what I'm going through right now. And I think that is something that is so beautiful to acknowledge. So in this episode, we are chatting about where Morgan's at in life right now, what her dating life looks like, how she's created amazing connection through community, through her Miles with Morgan trips, group trips she does with women all over the world all year long. how she is fully embracing this season of life, a very busy and full season of life. And we even get an update on her Portugal apartment, which I believe she has now since closed on and decorated into the most beautiful little European escape. A little bit more about Morgan. She is a California based lifestyle and travel creator, passionate about empowering women to live boldly and explore the world with intention. Through her vibrant content and Miles with Morgan group trips, she blends wellness, spontaneity, and storytelling to inspire meaningful connection and adventure. And so, on that note, let's get into it today and welcome Morgan to the show. Morgan, thank you so much for joining today for Behind the Cusp. I'm so excited to have you. You were actually the first guest on the podcast, too.
Yay, I am honored. I cannot wait to I selfishly just catch up with you. I feel like we haven't chatted in a while, so
I
this will be
know.
fun.
I know. Yes, it's going to be so fun. And thank you for taking the time because I know you are a very busy woman these days.
Well, you caught me when I'm actually in the country, so we've got some time.
Yes, I know. And that's pretty rare too. So, given that, let's kind of set a little stage and tone. And I would love for you to just share with the audience and listeners and everything a little bit about you for those of you who don't know Morgan. And then we can also chat about how we met, which is a really fun story.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
tell
that
us
oh my God,
about
that
you.
feels like 18 years ago when we did meet. Okay, so I'm Morgan. I live in Orange County. I am I don't know what we call ourselves. What do you call yourself? A content creator, an influencer, an entrepreneur, who freaking knows? I'm one of those things. I do a lot. I live in Orange County, but I also am all over the place. So I host group trips called Miles with Morgan. So for girls who are, single or not single, or they just want to explore the world more, I bring them all over. We just took a group to Bali and Mykonos, and it's super fun. So
Mhm.
that keeps me busy. When I'm not doing that, I bought an apartment in Lisbon. So we're bopping over there all the time. I'm 31 years young, I like to say. I'm
Love
single.
that.
I'm figuring life out.
Yep.
It's something different every single day, but I love my life. I love sharing my life. And that's kind of I guess a lot of people know me from reality TV. That is a talking point, I guess I should say. It's why did you get into this crazy world? It was
Hmm.
not by choice. Yeah, I
Hmm.
was on a couple of different TV shows, got a platform, and then from there built that platform to kind of what I have now.
Hmm. Amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. You do so much. I sometimes watch your stories and I'm just like, how does she even keep her head screwed on straight? Like, you're always flying somewhere, always packing, unpacking. I'm like, where is this woman?
Yeah, there's a chip missing for sure. I don't know if that's something deep rooted. Actually, a lot of people love to message me their opinions. I'm sure you know this as
Oh, yeah.
someone who has a platform.
Hmm.
So a lot of people, when I am traveling, the therapists out there love to diagnose me. So a
Hmm.
lot of them are in my DMs being like, I think you're running from something. And I'm like,
Hmm.
maybe I am, maybe I'm not. I don't know. That's for me and my own therapist to
Yeah.
figure out.
Right.
But
Right.
I love to be on the go. There's probably something deep rooted where it's I hit 2 weeks at home. I've been in Orange County for way too long. And that's been 2.5 weeks. And I'm like, I'm ready to go. Where are we going next? I got
Yeah.
my suitcase is never in the closet. It's just
Yeah.
waiting in the hallway to
Yeah.
be packed up,
Yeah.
ready.
That is too funny. I mean, I understand that whole side of it of like they might be saying like, "Oh, you're running from something or whatever." But I think that also that it's like kind of your normal, like your
Hmm.
travel stuff and at the end of the day, like you said, you're the only one that can really figure that out. So, and
Right.
that's kind of what I want to talk about in this podcast is like figuring life out and where you're at and diving into this amazing life that you have built with so many different facets. Let's start out with you live such an independent, beautiful, like light you up kind of life. What is the thing that's lighting you up the most right now about what you do?
Oh gosh. God, that's such a good question. And if I'm being totally transparent, which I always try and be, I've actually been feeling pretty burnt out.
Hmm.
This whole entire summer, I had a really, really hard time showing up on social media. And
A
it's
lot.
so funny because I'm sure you get this where it's I'll go back and forth. I'll have good days, I'll have bad days. So, and my issue pro and a con is I have to share things. If I'm feeling
Yeah.
something, I share it. So I feel like I went back and forth. Even my audience is make up your mind. Are you burnt out? Are you not? Do you love life? Do you hate it?
Yeah.
Because I'd be like, I can't show up today, guys. Like I want to break from social media. I don't want to do this job anymore. It's just too much. And then the next week I'd be like talking again. I'd be like, oh, like I feel good.
Yes.
And I think it just goes to show that like we're human. Like I think as content creators, like you have to show up and everyone expects everything for you, but like you can't be that all the time. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's ebbs and flows in life, and I just happen to show the ebbs and the
Mm-hmm.
flows. So I'm finally getting out of the slump. I'm getting out. We're seeing the light at the tunnel where now it's like I'm showing up and I'm very thankful and I feel creative again. And I
Yeah.
think what's helped me a lot is these group trips that I have.
Yeah. They're amazing.
They're really, really awesome, and it's not just a way for me to, like, travel and, like, selfishly see the world, which is kind of how they started, but getting to see women come together,
Mm-hmm.
women that have followed me, that
Hmm.
my platform brought them together, and, like, at the end of every trip, it's always so special.
Yeah.
I'm exhausted, like, I'm
Yeah.
haggard. I'm, like, so tired by the end. I'm like, "Oh my god, I
Right.
need a nap." But watching girls who were strangers at the beginning, who were terrified, anxious, nervous, like no one's really talking to each other. And by the end, there's always tears in their eyes. There's people coming up saying thank you to me.
Hmm.
So that kind of puts it into perspective. We're like, the days when I don't wanna show up because the algorithm sucks or, like, no one's seeing my content, or I'm like, "How am I gonna pay my bills this month with, like, ads?" I do remember that I was been given this platform, and there's a gift beyond
Yeah.
just slinging Instagram ads and discount codes. So, those group trips have been such a blessing,
Hmm.
in my life, and that's what's really, like, I don't know, kind of, like, lit my fire again.
I really want to dive more into the whole trips thing because I think this is such an incredible thing that you've done. Like you've taken your platform and the women who are following you there and kind of in the similar same season as you, and then you've opened up this avenue for them to join you, but then not just join
Mhm.
you, join each other. And they're
Yeah.
probably creating these friendships and maybe even lifelong friendships and relationships and things together. So you've created this container for them to connect with you, but then also each other. And like they're women that are in the same phases of life and not feeling alone. And I think that's so incredible because so many women, especially in their early 30s, they're single, they're kind of like, what am I doing with my life? They do feel that sometimes.
Yeah, no, it's really cool, and it's but what's awesome about these trips too is it kind of started as me being like, all right, I'm in my early 30s, I'm single, my friends all have kids, like I want to travel, they can't go. So that's kind of what I thought these trips would be. And what I've realized it's like everyone, no matter what age you are, like, they're seeking connection. I
Yes.
think at the end of the day, that's what it is. So it's like, I'll have, like, the young 30-year-olds who are single, like, they wanna go to Mykonos and, like, meet the fun boys, and, like, it's a great time, and I'm like, "Live your best life, sis." But at
Yep.
the same time, it's like, I have moms who have kids at home, and, like, they're coming because they're finally realizing, like, they deserve a break, or, like, they need mom friends because like, all they have at home is, like, they're just taking care of the kids, and it's just really cool to see women at, like, wherever you are in life. It's like, look, we can all come together no matter, like, where we are. I think that's what I'm realizing is like, okay, just
Yeah.
because you're 30 and you don't have kids, or you're 20 and you do have kids, like,
Yep.
we're all one and the same, right? Like, we all
Right.
just want connection however we find that, and I don't know, I've gotten to the point where I want people to realize, like, whatever you choose in life, you're fine, like, you're
Mhm.
fine, like, there's a big world outside of whatever, I don't know, little box that you've put yourself in.
Yes. Okay, so overall, what I'm hearing is that you're creating this amazing space and place for women to truly just connect. And I love
Yeah.
that it's not associated with a certain identity. One of my earlier episodes was about like identity and how our
Mhm.
identity and our roles play a huge factor in us. And a lot of times people get so stuck in their role in life that they forget who they are individually. And I love that you are welcoming so many different women that are in different roles, and it's not kind of clouding their identity. And they're showing up as a woman and they're just saying, like, I want to connect with other women. And it doesn't matter if I'm a mom, a single girl, I'm married, I'm dating kids, no kid, like, there's just no definition to that. And that's such a beautiful.
Mhm. It's really fun. I love my job. I'm telling
Yeah.
people, I'm like, I'm gonna be doing group trips till I'm old and gray. Like
Yeah.
this is just my thing now.
Yeah. When you have the women on these trips, are they really, what is like their favorite part? What is the biggest thing that they love or their takeaway that they tell you when, and also I want to come on one. I'm like, I need to sign up and come on one of these trips.
Yeah, they are super fun. We're like it's crazy. I hate to break it to the people out there. I'm like, I'm sold out until like 2027. I'm already like
So,
planning way far in advance, which is just so crazy. I mean, everyone always has different answers of like what their favorite parts are, and it's so funny. I'm such a type A perfectionist. I put so much pressure on myself with these trips. I'm like, I need everyone to have a good time. Nothing can go wrong. The itinerary has to be perfect, and 9 times out of 10, the moments that they love the most are the moments when things don't go the
yeah.
way that they're supposed to, and
Yeah.
it's just so funny. It's, like, something I always have to remind myself of is, like, people don't care about the perfect Instagram thing. They
Yeah.
don't care about the perfect moment. It doesn't have to be super fancy. We were on a Lisbon group trip, and we had planned a sunset cruise,
Okay.
which sounds amazing. Like we
Right.
were gonna take a boat, sunsetting, we're gonna drink wine. Well, we show up and it's pouring rain.
Oh my,
Like there's just nothing we could do.
yeah. It's
And
like,
I'm like, okay, we have to pivot. And everyone, of course, looks to me to put a smile on my face. Where so I smiling, but internally I'm just like dying because I'm like, we get one day to do this. We can't reschedule. Girls are huddled up, freezing cold.
right.
We're in ponchos, not you can't see a foot in front of you. I'm like, sweet, amazing sunset cruise that like
Right.
they
Right.
paid for. But I ended up taking like the aux cord. They had like a mic on the boat, and we ended up just doing karaoke like in the rain, like
Oh
playing
my
Hillary
God.
Duff and Britney Spears. And literally by the end of the trip, that was every single girl's
Favorite
response
thing.
of what their favorite moment was.
I love
So it
that.
was just like such a learning
Hmm.
experience of like, it doesn't like it's again back to
Yeah.
human connection. People are going to remember the moments that go chaotic where they're
Yeah.
laughing and, really like just hanging out with other humans. Like
Yeah.
they're not going to remember the cute outfit and like the perfect Instagram photo they
Right.
got.
Right. And also to your point, like that is so much of just breaking down these walls of like perfectionism or appearances or all of these things that our society may put in our head, or like you said, the perfect Instagram, this or that.
Hmm.
All of those things are just kind of being dismantled and people are able to show up as themselves. These women are probably grabbing the mic and just getting out of their shell and getting into
Hmm.
the flow. And that's such an amazing thing because we're all so afraid of doing that, I think, in our life,
Yeah.
breaking out of those shells, breaking out of those things, or like, what are they going to think of me? And it was like, no one cared. They're just doing it and having fun. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was fun.
I know we talked about the group trips, but you have such an amazing, I think, story that probably your following knows a lot about, but I would love to talk more about that and also kind of leading up to how it's helped you create the life that you have now. Just saying yes to things and taking all of these like exciting adventures and maybe even categorizing them as risks, if you would. I don't know. I think just breaking down the walls of like societal narratives and
Hmm.
boxes and how you've crafted a life outside of that and how beautiful it is. I'd love to hear more about that and just like even your journey of what led you to do that in the first place, because I know it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I'll give you like the Cliff Notes
Yeah,
version.
that's great.
Yeah, it's so funny. It really is like the butterfly effect. So I always tell people, I'm like, if you're going through something hard right now, just know, give it a year, 2 years, like you will eventually look back and you're gonna be like, holy shit, this is why that happened. X led to Y, led to Z, whatever. So like if I rewind my life, I was in post-reality TV, I was dating someone really toxic relationship. I thought that was like my life. I used to not travel, by the way. Wouldn't
Which
travel.
I can't
I
even like fathom.
cannot comprehend that. Like, what? That is my entire identity now. But I had never solo traveled, had no desire to. I wanted to stay home with this person, whatever. That ended up, that relationship ended in a really terrible way, very publicly. After that ended, I had put so much weight into that person. Like my identity was tied to them. I thought my worth revolved around what people thought of me with this other person. And I no longer had them. So I was like, what am I doing? Also, it was a very narcissistic relationship. So within all of that, I had lost myself. I had lost my identity.
Hmm.
This was at the beginning of 2022. And in that relationship, all I did was say no to things. I would say no to hanging out with my friends. I would say no to vacations. Like I didn't want to ever go see my family because like if I left, I would be cheated on, whatever. So the beginning of 2022, I was like, I'm gonna have a yes year. Anything that comes my way, I'm just gonna say yes to because I spent so long saying no. So it started with like a trip to New York, and then I just kept saying yes. So I was traveling a lot. And then one of my friends was like, hey, there's this place called Lisbon. Do you want to go with me?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, sure. You pay for it, whatever, whatever. I'll show up and go. So, long story short, this is what really launched my life in a totally different direction.
Mhm.
Like 48 hours before the trip, he called me. He got in an accident. He broke his collarbone. He can't go anymore. And he was like, all right, well, you have two options. Like, you can go by yourself, or we can try and reschedule. But a lot of the stuff is non refundable.
Incredible.
And
Yeah.
then my initial instinct, I was like, there's no way. I was like, I cannot go
Yeah.
to Europe by myself. I know nothing about this country.
Yeah.
So I called my friend who ironically like we're very close. She wrote a best-selling novel, very similar parallels. Her name's Gabrielle Stone. If you have not read the book Eat, Pray, FML,
Okay. Writing
especially if
it
you're
down.
going through if you're go it's also just it's a hysterical book. She's a badass, but if you're going through a divorce or a breakup, that was like my Bible. She sent me the book. That's how we became friends. Anyways, in the book, she went solo traveling. So I called her up and I was like, Gabrielle, I can't get on the plane. Like, I don't know what to do. And she
Yeah.
was like, get your ass on
On the
that plane. She was
plane.
like,
Yeah.
it does not make sense now, but she's like, this is the universe pushing you in a direction you don't want to go. But
Yes.
it's like, it's fate, whatever. So I got on the plane. That solo trip changed the trajectory of my
Of
entire
your life.
life.
Mhm.
Fell in love with Lisbon. Fast forward to now, I'm 31. That was a couple years ago. I own an apartment there. I have the best friends in the world. I just kept going back to Lisbon,
Mhm.
started my solo trip journey, and then from there I just kept saying yes. And
Mhm.
that grew, and then it allowed me to be vulnerable on the internet going
Yeah.
through that breakup, and then sharing my yes year, and then
Yeah.
yeah, it's just really transformed into where I'm at now, which is like empowering women, the solo travel, saying, you know what, no to societal norms.
Yes.
That loops into the Lisbon thing when I turned 30, which was last year, I
Last
guess. I don't
year.
know, time
Yeah.
time's flying. I'm like, how
Right.
old am I?
I
Yeah, I turned 30 and I was not where I thought I would be in life. I was living in
right.
Nashville, which is like, I love my friends there, but Nashville's a different way of life. It's,
Yeah.
a little bit more Southern. So, like, I was the only one not married. I didn't have kids. I wasn't dating anyone. I was dating someone in Australia, which is like, again, not
Yeah.
normal in the slightest.
Right.
We had just broken up, or that was before we broke up, but whatever. It was hard, long
Yeah.
distance. And I was just like, what the hell am I doing? So, I ran away and I went back to where it all started with Lisbon at that solo trip.
Yep.
I moved to Lisbon for 6
Mhm.
weeks. So I was just like, I'll figure it out
Right.
here. I don't know why I'm called to be here. And then that was when I really opened my eyes to like, wait, I don't have to do what everyone else is doing. My path doesn't have to
Yes.
look like Susie's down the street. It
Yep.
might not include kids in a white picket fence, or maybe it
Right.
does. And I got to Lisbon and I met the most wonderful humans. And this is why I always tell people, if you're going through a hard time and you can do it, travel.
Oh.
Travel
Mhm.
somewhere, you'll
Yes.
meet who you're supposed to meet. And it's
Yep.
just, it'll open your eyes to such a wide world beyond
Mhm.
like your bubble. So I met, I mean, amazing friends from all different, like some were married, some weren't, some had kids, some didn't want, it just made me
It
realize
was
like
just like a melting pot of everything. Like it's
of
giving you a new
everything.
perspective
Yes,
on what life can look like, and it
can
doesn't have
be.
to, everyone's life doesn't have to look the same.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, what makes one person happy is not going to make the other person happy. And in my
Yes.
head, I always just assume what would make me happy was by the time I hit 30, marriage, a ring on my finger, a plot of land, and a couple kids.
Yep.
And when I didn't have that, I just assumed I was unhappy. I was like, oh my God, I'm failing at life. I
Yes.
have to be miserable. And then I
Yeah.
got to Lisbon and I was
And
like,
you're like,
wait,
hold on a second.
wait, plot twist. I was
Yeah.
like, wait, I can do things differently. And
Yep.
that's when things really changed for me. And
Opens. Yeah.
I don't know, I just embrace kind of what I wanted. And I
Mhm.
realized right now that's not what I want. It could
Yeah.
change. And I was really scared to post about it because you know what, like you get it as an influencer, content creator, like people want you to follow a certain trajectory, right? Like
Or
they're
what
following your
they think
life
their trajectory for you
is
is.
yours.
Yeah. Mhm.
Right. And I was, like, so scared because these people have been following me since I was 22. Like, that's a long
I
time to
get
follow
that.
someone on the
Yeah.
internet.
Right.
And I was like, "Wait, but, like, if they don't see me, like, getting married or they're not seeing me dating or not seeing me, like, getting pregnant, like, they're gonna lose interest in me, and, like,
Mhm.
then I fail in their eyes." And yeah, once I started posting about it though, and I was like, "All right, well, I'm gonna do things a little differently. I'd rather buy an apartment in a foreign country than settle down in America." And I was like, "Oh my God, everyone's gonna hate me or like judge me." And the response was
Mhm.
so positive. There
Yeah.
were so many thank yous in my
Mhm.
DMs being like, "Wait, thank you. I'm also not where I
Yep.
thought I'd be, or I'm not
Mhm.
doing things that other people are doing." And I felt so
Mhm.
weird. And it was just, yeah, it was a very comforting feeling knowing, okay, I'm not
Yes.
crazy and I'm not alone. And
Yeah.
I'm also not that old. Like, we got to
No.
stop
No.
saying
Yeah.
when you hit 30, you become old. I'm like,
Yeah.
whoa, actually, I'm still kind of young. I've got
Yeah.
time. Okay.
No,
Calm down.
we are definitely very young, and I love that you just shared all of that because there are so many similarities in our stories and like our journeys. I was in a relationship for 6 years. I went through that. I had gotten engaged. I was in an engagement for 7, 8 months,
I
and
didn't know you were engaged.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
I really and like I actually did a whole episode on this because it was so integral and basically the trajectory turning point for me. Like you had that turning point. It set me on an entirely different course in my life. And if I hadn't taken the chance of just walking away from that, I wouldn't be where I am today for sure. And that led me to moving to Naples and experiencing a new place. And I kind of did the same thing as you. I took a chance where I was like, I'm going to go live in another place for a month in the winter and get away from cold. And that led me to Naples. And then I didn't want to leave. And I ended up being here for 2.5 months. And then it turned into me getting an apartment here. And then 2 years later, I meet the man of my dreams. And now we've been together for 2 years. And now I bought a place here. And this whole progression of all of these things just because I was willing to say yes to something that, or I guess no, in the sense of the engagement ending, to say no to something that I didn't feel like was right. And I had to walk away from, like you said, these expectations or the next, what makes sense, if you will, from an outside standpoint or a societal standpoint. But I was like, this doesn't feel right for me. And I need to break
Hmm.
out of that. And it was truly the trajectory changing point of my entire life to lead me where I am now. And to your point, also, so many women are so empowered by that because they are afraid to not have that storybook kind of
Hmm.
setting or scene or structure. And guess what? If someone has that in their life, great. That's amazing. That is what their story is, and that's beautiful. But not everyone's life looks like that. Clearly, we are
Hmm.
two examples of that. We're in our 30s, we're both not married. We've both had, like, I've gone through my phase of traveling the world and just saying yes to every single thing and doing that. And I still do that now, but just not as often as I was before. But I think that also there's a lot of courage that comes in that. It takes so much courage for you to get on that plane, and it takes so much
Hmm.
courage for me to walk away from an engagement. And it's a lot of letting go of limiting beliefs of yourself, that
Hmm.
process.
Yeah.
You had to let go of a lot of things, even in a split second time of let me get on this plane and let me just do this anyways. The universe is leading me in a new direction. And letting go of all of that to walk into something new, but it's also so exciting at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, exciting once you do it.
Yeah.
I think that's the issue. A lot of people let the fear stop them from doing it. And I always say the hardest part is showing up. Like when I get messages from girls being like, I really want to go on your group trip, which by the way, I give people mad props. Like I'm at this point pro solo traveler. I think it's way easier to force yourself to go, but to show up on a group trip where you don't know a single person and you're hanging out with them for a week. I'm
Mhm.
like, that's actually daunting to me. But yeah, I'll get girls and they'll message me and be like, I want to go so bad, but I'm so scared. And I always just say, you just got to sign up. You
Yeah.
got to sign up and get on the plane. That's the hardest part.
Mhm.
But that you're doing more than what a lot of people do. Same with you with like the engagement. I feel like a lot of people stay in something where it's not serving them because they're so scared of
Yes.
the other side. And I
Yes.
always tell people, I'm like, you have to believe that it only gets better. You
Right.
have to believe that that is how life works, though, right? Like,
Mhm.
if you choose to believe it, like you show up on the plane knowing that an adventure is waiting for you, and the relationship knowing that when one door closes, another one opens. You just
Yes.
have to trust. And a lot
Mhm.
of people can't do that. And I mean,
Right.
I get it. It's freaking terrifying
It
putting
is.
blind faith in
Yes.
like universe or God or like whatever you believe in. But
Yeah.
I mean, I'm living proof. I'm like, it really does get
It
better if
really
you
does.
just believe it.
Yes, it does. Okay, so kind of talking about those career, or not necessarily career, but just life milestones or things that maybe look more cookie cutter. There is a lot of pressure, I think, on women from our society to fit this certain mold or fit a certain box. And like I said before, we're both two examples that we don't fit in the mold in the box and have created an insanely amazing life for both of ourselves individually. How do you feel like you released the pressure, if you will, of the timeline? Or is that something that you still struggle
Mm,
with and kind of still bounce in between of one day it's fine, the next day you're like, what does that look like?
yeah.
You
I mean, I'd
know?
be lying if I said I don't still struggle with it. Obviously, therapy has helped me so much. But something my therapist said, and it's something I really had to battle with, was like the idea of kids. Because obviously I'm getting older, and that is something that you do need to think about. And I'm not sure. And I'm very open with saying, like, I just don't know. I think I want them some days, and some days I'm like, maybe that's not for me. And like, I
Mhm.
probably will freeze my eggs. But a lot of it was I was wanting to fit that role, that timeline, that societal expectation for other people. Where I was like, yeah, but I really want my parents to have
Yeah,
grandchildren. Like, I
yeah,
really want my friends to like have like a fun little niece or nephew to hang out with their kids. And
yeah.
my therapist sat me down and she said, you need to take all that out. She's like, you need to think about what you want. She's like, because, and this is so morbid, I hated thinking about this, but you need to. When your parents go away, you're going to be living with the decision that you possibly made for them. When your friends move away, you're going to be living with the decision that you might have made for them. So it's like you really have to peel back all these layers and think, what do you want at the end of the day without anyone else in your life? Like, what is the decision that you're going to be living with that you want? And that's when I really was like, whoa. I never thought of it like that.
Mhm.
I always was just like, well, yeah, whatever everyone else is doing, whatever everyone else wants from me. And at the end of the day, you get one life, like
Right.
literally one life. And
Yeah.
if you live it for someone else, it's not your life anymore.
Right.
So that's kind of where I'm at.
Mhm.
Yeah, it changes every day. Some days I know what I want, some days I don't. And I think that's kind of like the beauty of, I don't
Mhm.
know, being young and single and 30
Yeah.
is I
Yeah,
change
it
my
is.
mind every single
I
day.
know. I feel that. I'm 35 and, you know, to be totally honest, I've never really ever had this burning, massive desire to be a mom or have children. And I was kind of always, my mom was always like, oh, you will, like, just wait, just wait. And I'm like, I've been waiting since I can remember being like 10, 12, 14 years old. And I just don't really know if I want kids. I know that innately that I would be a great mom. Like, I know that. But I think for me, it's just deeper than that. Like it's not this thing that I've like ever really, really,
Mhm.
really wanted. I think partially it comes from being in a huge family and, I'm the oldest of seven. And so a lot of my childhood was taking care of siblings, literally taking care of babies, down to everything. I mean, it's probably not normal for most 14-year-olds to know an entire birth process and everything that goes into that and taking care of babies and stuff. But I think what I'm kind of trying to say here is I grew up almost being a mini mom in my family.
Mhm.
That so much of my life for until I went to college was that. And since then, I've kind of lived this life of having my own life, if you will, because I was forced to grow up so young. I remember being 6 and 7 years old and taking care of siblings. And a lot of that has to do with my own family and the structure and like our own family structure and trauma and all of that we all go through as, kids that we work through. But, you know, it was like something that I feel has really defined my adulthood because I don't really care about the society boxes and stuff. And
Hmm.
okay if my life looks different, or if I don't want it to look like that and I just want to be Auntie Marissa, which I love being Auntie Marissa to all my friends' kids,
Yeah. Yeah.
so maybe that'll be the role that I play. I don't know. So another thing is just, okay, a lot of that is defined by kids, but what about, marriage and relationship? And I know being on a platform like we are, we're constantly asked that question of like, are you seeing anyone? Are you this and that? And it can definitely probably get annoying, I think, especially for you right now. People want to know that aspect of your life.
Oh
But how do you
man.
navigate being single in a world that, if you are, I mean, I don't know, maybe you're seeing somebody right
Oh,
now.
I'm so single. It's like
Okay.
painful. It's actually painful how
Yeah,
single I am.
no, it's good. But how do you navigate being single in a world that's constantly asking you about that and constantly thinking that you need to be with someone to be
Yeah.
full woman, if you will?
Yeah. I mean, I struggled with it. I still struggle with it, because you see the happy couples on Instagram. I think social media has really made it difficult. It's a highlight reel, and I always tell people and also tell myself like you cannot pay attention to social media. Those happy couples who are making the skits and the videos and all that, you don't know what it's like behind closed doors. And it's like I can also say that because I work in social media. I'm the amount of
You know,
times, especially early in my career, when I would post a smiling photo but I was crying behind the scenes. I know that. I
Mhm.
have to remember that. But it's really hard. I think for me, it's like I see the cute videos and like sometimes I do want that. And I was actually just telling my friend the other day, and this is I think why I travel so much. I never feel alone. I think we place such a weight on romantic love, right? Like
Yes,
that you need a partner in order to feel love. You need a partner in order to travel. You need a partner to go to weddings and like do
right.
things with. And it's like that is wonderful. And I would really love that. Trust me. The amount of
Yeah.
times I sit on my couch at night, I'm like, damn, this would be great if I had a guy here with me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm never alone. I can honestly say now, and I'm really not seeking dating at all. I feel more fulfilled now,
Yes.
in my life. The least lonely I felt in a long time, and I'm not
Mhm.
pursuing dating. I'm not seeing anyone. I have so many wonderful humans in my life, and I have friends in Lisbon and Australia. And not saying you have to travel in order to make friends, but I just think you can have love in other forms that is not romantic.
Yes.
And I found the times when I was forcing myself to date, just it was not authentic. I wasn't happy. In fact, I can count more times than not when I would come home from a date crying. Because
Hmm.
it was just another one where I was like, I'm exhausted. Like, I don't want to be doing this. I'd rather be at home watching Netflix on my couch
Yeah,
by myself,
I
like,
get that.
or FaceTiming with a girlfriend or going,
Yes.
to dinner with a friend. Like, that's what filled my cup. And I was depleting my cup
Hmm.
trying to go on dates when I was actually happy. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, like I
Yeah.
wasn't lacking anything. So
It just wasn't
that's
aligned for you at that time. It
right,
just wasn't the
right,
right thing. And I love
right.
that you just brought up you can find love in other places because so much of this conversation I feel like has been, and knowing you and knowing your journey and watching it unfold has been honestly falling in love with yourself. I think
Yeah,
your following, like your people, like have watched you really dive into just knowing yourself on such a deep level and being able to be comfortable being with yourself. And so much of being able to even show up healthy in a relationship someday is exactly that. You can't be in
yeah,
a healthy relationship if you don't know who you are. And you've had that
100%.
this amazing, beautiful time of these years to travel. And when you're traveling solo, you get to know yourself on a deep level and
Oh,
who you are and what
yeah.
makes you tick and all those things. It's like another level. But that's amazing. And I love that you just said I don't really feel like I'm lonely because that was actually going to be my next question is do you find yourself being lonely? And if you do, what do you do kind of like in those moments? But you're kind of saying like no, like and
Yeah.
that's good. Like when you're comfortable being on your own and in your own house and all of that on your own.
Yeah. I mean, I do get lonely. I think
Yeah.
I think anyone who says that they don't is a big fat liar. Okay, like it's human nature to feel alone when you don't have a partner, especially when it's like My sister's got an awesome boyfriend and I see them together, but she's normally my ride or die. And so it's seeing her transition into
Yes.
like, she
Okay.
now has a person and it's like, yeah, it kind of is a shitty feeling where I'm like, I'm so happy for someone. I think that's what I've been battling with. And that's what maybe when the feeling of loneliness pop up is, yeah, you're so happy for your loved ones finding their person and seeing love. And then it's this weird feeling of also sadness and kind of jealousy where
Yeah,
you're just
yeah,
like, but what about me? And then you're like, oh, am I lonely? And oh, I want that too. When
yeah,
is it going to be my time? So like
yeah.
I do struggle with that. Something that's helped me, I just posted a reel about it actually. I love Jay Shetty. God bless that
Good.
man.
Yes,
He
really
said
good.
this on a podcast, and it's something I do when I get lonely that's so helpful is anytime I'm like, "Oh god, I wish I had a partner so I can go to a wedding not by myself," or like, whatever. Write down everything you want a partner for. Everything, all your feelings of loneliness, like what you're struggling with. And then on the
Hmm.
other side in the column, write down everyone in your life that can fill that role. So it's like for me, it's like, God, I want to go see this movie. I don't want to go by myself. And it's like, okay, my friend Melina, she lives 10 minutes down the road. I can call her. I don't know, like I want to, whatever you want to do, you have someone in your life that
That can
can
do it with
probably
you.
fill
Hmm.
that role. So
Hmm.
it's just a little mindset shift. And anytime I do that, I'm like, ah, it's a sigh of relief. I'm not
Yes.
lonely. Like,
That's
and
really good.
eventually my time will come where it will be a romantic person. You'll find that ride or die. But until then, I'm like, I got people. We're
Yes.
we're okay.
Yes. You have people and they're all over the world.
Yeah, that
Uh,
is very true.
so you've created this life. It's so exciting and it seems, I guess, that it's very aligned, for you right now. What are some daily habits or choices and things that you do on a daily basis that keep you kind of in that energy, especially when you're traveling? Because I think when you're outside of your norm and your routine or your home or your home base or whatever, it can be hard. And I know, really big on your fitness routine and your health
Hmm.
routine and kind of all that. And I know you get this question a lot too. That's how do you maintain all of that while traveling? So what are some daily things that you do to keep yourself feeling on track and aligned, whether you're home or traveling? And does that look different
Hmm.
for both?
I mean, I try my best to have like non-negotiables. I think that's the only way I can keep up with
Yep.
my lifestyle. And that is so funny. I get asked that all the time. They're like, I don't get how you're in a different continent every single month. I do, for the most part, stay fit and healthy and mindset, mentally, whatever. There are some non-negotiables. I journal a lot. I never ever leave without a pen and paper anytime, especially if I can't go to therapy. I'm a huge advocate for therapy. Obviously, when I'm on the road, I can't do that. So like I will write every thought, especially on airplanes. Oh, I love me a journal on an airplane moment. So
Yep.
I try and stay mindful and reflect with that. Like I travel with supplements. I'm like a medicine cabinet. There's a green
Same.
drink, vitamins, supplements. I'm
Yep.
not like I was in my 20s where I can survive off of, coffee and alcohol and that's it. So I definitely do that. And then fitness is huge for me. So even when I travel, that is something I will not give up. And it's not even just so I can look good. It's for mental clarity. So I am ClassPass's biggest advocate
Okay.
because it's literally worldwide. I have like their highest membership. So I take anytime I go, Bali, Lisbon, Europe, Australia, I am taking classes.
Amazing.
And then I'm walking a lot. I mean, even when I'm home, I'm like 12,000 steps is a
For
must for
you.
me,
Yeah.
non-negotiable.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm like, I always tell people, I
Hmm.
don't diet. Like, what?
Yep.
Live your best life. But when
Yeah.
I'm home, I'm
You're
not,
dialed.
eating McDonald's and stuff. I'm like
Hmm.
I follow the 80/20 rule. So 80% disciplined, whole foods, eating right, eating clean. And then that other 20%, do whatever the hell you want. Life's short. We're
Yep.
all gonna die.
Yep.
Let's not be miserable.
I love that you're just talking about a few things that keep you grounded because sometimes you're looking online at so many different influencers and sharing their daily routine and this and that, and it looks like they have this massive checklist of things
Mm,
that can be really overwhelming. And you're like, I can't do all that in my day,
no.
or how are they fitting all of that in or whatever. And maybe they're not, maybe it's all show for the camera, or maybe they are. But I think that you just saying, okay, I journal, I prioritize my movement, and I do the 80/20 rule. And those are things that just keep you so grounded
Hmm.
and aligned. it's almost refreshing to hear because we don't have to create these massive things, and for all the
No.
women, girls listening, you don't have to create this massive list of things that you have to hit every single day to be a functioning, aligned, normal, healthy kind of woman. You don't.
Yeah.
Like if
Nor
you have a
nor do
few
I think
things
you
that keep you grounded.
should.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't
I'm
either.
like,
I'm really leaning into moving in flow right now and kind of tapping more into that feminine energy because feminine is flow and masculine is more of this structure. And I think there's a time and a place for both, but women are trying to fit too much into the other box and we're losing that beautiful aspect of who we are to flow and
yeah.
have to leave space in order for things to move and flow.
Ooh, I like that. I see, I don't flow and I'm very much, again, in that 80%, 80-20 rule. I am the rigid list
Yes.
type A. But yeah, I will say, I think that's also why I like travel and why I hit that
Mhm.
2 week mark. I could probably use a little bit more balance, but that 20% is that flow. And there's something about leaving that I take a deep breath. The second I get on an airplane, we like exhale, and that's when I get a flow and I get to let go. So,
Uh-huh.
yeah, whatever that flow looks like for you in life, I think it's so
Yes.
important to also I'm team be a little unhinged every now and then,
Yeah,
but
we love unhinged Morgan.
I love an unhinged moment. People are
Yeah,
like, "All right, you gonna go to Ibiza again soon?" I was like, "Maybe. I don't
maybe.
know. We'll
Yeah,
see how I'm feeling."
right.
But yeah, you gotta let loose. Like life is meant to be enjoyed, truly.
Yes. Yes, it is. Okay, what is your philosophy around saying yes? Because
Oh
I think
gosh.
I know the answer, but how do you kind of know when something is a yes for you? And
Yeah.
what makes you even want to say yes? I know you had that yes year that you were like, I'm saying yes to everything, but now that you're out of that, you probably have a little bit more balance that you're like, okay, no,
hmm
what does that look like?
I always say I'm going to curse for a second. I don't know, you can bleep it out. But something I always say is if it's not a hell yeah, it's a fuck no.
Love that.
I firmly believe that. And the second, look, we all know the second you get asked to do something, you're either going to say yes or no. You know, deep down,
Oh,
you in that
100%.
instant, if someone's like, "Do you want to come to dinner with me?" You're either going to say immediately, like, "Yes, that sounds so fun," or you're going to be like, "I don't want to do that."
Mm-hmm.
I think paying attention to that is the most important thing because when I was in my early 20s, I was the worst. I Someone would ask me to do something and I would be like, I don't really want to do that." But instantly I'd be like, yeah, 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 let me just say yes. And 10 out of 10 times, if I deep down wanted to say no and I showed up because I felt like I needed to say yes, I was miserable. I never enjoyed myself.
Mm-hmm.
So now I do try and have a balance. I say yes to a lot, but I try and pay attention to that initial feeling of is it a hell yeah or an F no?
Mm-hmm.
And if it's an F no, we got to say no immediately. Do
Yep.
not let society peer
Right.
pressure you. Don't let your friends peer pressure you. You know deep down
Mm-hmm.
what that answer is. So really paying attention to that. Yeah, so that's definitely helpful, but at the same time, a lot of times you do need to say yes. Yeah, paying attention to what that little gut feeling
Mm-hmm.
is.
Yes. I love that. Yes, I love that. Um, okay, so what's next for Morgan? What are you
Mm.
dreaming about right now? Maybe it's getting the keys
Ah,
officially to your Lisbon place. Did you get the keys yet? Unless I missed that, I don't think you have. It's the whole thing, right? Yeah.
the whole thing, guys. I mean, I'm not going to say don't buy a place in a foreign country, but don't
It's
have high
complicated.
expectations.
Yeah.
It's complicated. It's like a
Yeah.
relationship.
Yeah.
It's so different than America, which huge learning curve. I'm so thankful I did it. We don't know. I've heard so many different things. I'm hoping for the end of the month. You know what? If it's at the
Okay.
end of the year, we'll see. I'm gonna go
Okay.
to Lisbon at the end of the month regardless because I want to go to a Halloween party. It's
Okay.
like so Morgan coded. My mom's
Yes.
like, "Can you not go to a Halloween party in your city in California?" I was like,
Yeah.
"No, I think I want to fly across the country for it." Anyway, so
Yeah. You're like, I
we shall
could,
see.
but
I could, but I mean, I get
yeah.
free flights. We're gonna take advantage of that.
Yeah.
What's next? Yeah, I'm this apartment, that's kind of like my next big project. And then not me already I operate in like 5-year plans. So I'm kind of thinking of, what does 30 to 35 look like
Look
for
like.
Morgan? I obviously love my social media career. I love being an influencer of sorts, but I would eventually love to still do that, but take a different trajectory. So I'm really interested in this whole real estate. thing I've got going on.
Okay.
So I would love ideally a couple more properties. So taking the capital from this,
Right.
renting it
Yeah.
out, getting
Yep.
another one. I've already started to put feelers out in a couple different countries and areas. And
Love
yeah, I would
that.
love to continue growing my travel community, growing my real estate venture. And my hope is to have a couple of different spots, selfishly for me, but for my people to be able to go and feel comfortable. And
Mhm.
travel's changed my life. So if I can provide people a place to rent out where they feel at home and they,
Mhm.
it's got a touch of Morgan in it, stinking
Yeah.
cute, all the
Yeah.
fun things.
Yeah.
I just think that's would be really cool and special. So
Yeah.
that's kind of the trajectory. We'll see if it
I love
happens.
that. That's so honestly so cool and almost refreshing to hear because I feel like most creators or influencers, their next step is creating a brand or creating a product or,
Mhm.
something like that. And what you just said is so unique. And I think it goes back to literally the first thing that we were just talking about on this episode today about connection and bringing women together. You're going to have these places all over the world and people are going to be able to travel to them or travel to them, connect, with each other or even a
Mhm.
piece of you. Like it's just bringing that into who everything that you're doing in a greater way. And that's so cool. I love that.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's also foreign real estate
It is a game.
or real estate in general. I was like, okay, let me think. Instagram, my biggest fear, it could go away
Go
tomorrow.
away
Like
tomorrow. Yep. Always.
I
Yep.
always tell people like seven streams of income. You need to
Yes.
start putting feelers out in different places.
100%. Like you
So,
need to have buckets out there and have revenue
it's yes.
streams and yes, totally.
Yeah, you get it.
Yes, I do. Okay, so thank you so much for coming on. This was so
Of
fun.
course.
I want to end the episode with a little rapid fire question where you just
Okay.
answer the first thing that comes to your mind, whatever, and it'll just be a few different things. So,
Okay.
whatever your current favorite or current loving thing is. So, number one,
Okay.
travel destination.
Oh, okay. Obviously, selfishly Lisbon, but I'm really big into Sydney right now. Like I just booked a New
Okay.
Year's trip there.
Oh
So,
my God. Okay. Book.
oh my God, I just finished The Butterfly Garden.
I
The
haven't even
people
heard it,
listening,
but okay.
if you like a dark, twisted psychological thriller, I was kind of judging myself for reading it because it is so dark, but I finished
Okay.
it in like 48 hours. It is so good.
Okay. All right. Downloading it on my Kindle tonight. I'll put it in all of this will be in the
Yeah.
show notes too, so everyone can,
So good.
listen. Okay, self-care ritual. What's your favorite self-care?
Oh my God, lymphatic massages. I am the ambassador for lymphatic massage. I think
Okay.
everyone should get them. I get one weekly, which is probably excessive, but they just make me feel so amazing.
Okay, do you have a spot in LA, Orange County area that you like that you
I
can tell the
do.
listeners out there where to
So
go?
Orange County girls, it's called the Detox Loop. I go see
Okay.
Megan there, or if she's booked out, which she's like very popular. I'm gonna butcher her name, Flavia Lanini,
Okay.
crazy name. She's also fabulous. I see Anna at her
Okay.
location. So both of those, you
Okay.
will look so snatched and feel so good.
Okay. All right, and last thing, what's your favorite airport snack?
Oh my God. I'm so bad about anything airport food. If there's a Chick-fil-A, I'm
You're
bringing
there.
that on a plane. I'm in line. A Chick-fil-A sandwich with a fry and honey roasted barbecue sauce and a diet lemonade. 10 out of 10. If
Okay.
not, I'm like, I'm annoying. I'll just eat a protein bar or a Chomps beef stick. Like I'm not a fun snacker, really.
Okay. All right. Okay. Those are so fun. I'm downloading the book immediately and
Hmm.
I love the lymph stuff. So good. I've started to do that more honestly on my own using the Skinny Confidential little sculpt tool thing and it's so
Oh,
amazing. Yeah, so
I
good.
need to get that. I got a gua sha and like I do it
So
sometimes,
good.
but not
Yep. You
regularly. I
can
need
feel
to.
those lymph nodes like right here and then you can just get them drained right out. And if they're
Yeah.
I'm a gua sha girl for sure.
Okay. I'm gonna start doing it.
Okay,
Sold.
so for those of you out there, or those of the people listening that don't already follow you or connect with you, where can they find you? How can they book your trips?
Yes.
Tell us all the things.
All the things. Okay. Everything about my life and me is just on my Instagram. So it's at Morgan Lee Willett, my full name. I don't know why when I was in high school, I was like, let's pick our full legal name and put it as our Instagram bio, whatever.
But
So
okay,
that's
but you
me.
have your name, which is so unique, and so many people are trying to get their name now and they can't. So props to you
Oh,
because I don't have my name and
does
I
someone else
can't.
have your name?
Someone else has my name out there. It's really annoying. Yeah.
Oh, that's so okay.
So
Well, shout out to high school
I
me.
know.
She
Yes. Yes. The only
she
thing
was
that I
thinking
can
ahead.
get is Marissa.Mead. And so I've considered changing my handle, but at the same time, I'm like, I've been Style Cuss for 15 years. Do I
No,
change it?
no, you have
I
to stick with
know.
it.
I know. I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta.
So,
No, I like
yeah.
that. And then my group trips is just at Miles with Morgan trips. So
Okay.
we've got one opening up. I'm opening up one last trip for 2026. So
Okay.
that'll be launching very soon if
Where is it
anyone
go?
wants to
Where is
come.
it? Or can you share yet? Or is
I
it?
can, yeah.
Okay.
It's going to be in Lisbon. So we're going back to my happy place. I did one group trip there. It was magical and amazing. And I'm going to be staying there next fall. So I was like, let's do a group trip here. So it'll be in
Amazing.
September 2026. It'll be Lisbon.
Okay,
Super fun.
amazing. Oh, okay, maybe I
Yeah.
need to come on that one. I
Let me
really want to
know.
go. They always look so fun. All right.
They're so fun.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for sharing the vulnerable things that you are struggling with, but also just the amazingness of your exciting traveling life. I love chatting with you more. And yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of Behind the Cusp. If you love this episode, I'd so appreciate it if you'd rate, review, or share it with someone else who's also on their path of self-growth. These all go such a long way in supporting the show. Be sure to hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. You can find me over on Instagram at StyleCusp and follow the show Behind the Cusp. And as always, keep tuning inward. True transformation begins from the inside out.